The Gates of Hell 2, Dead Awakening. You gotta hand it to this Fort Worth lensed American horror picture. The Italians would just rip off wholesale all sorts of movies back in the day. And this one really it gives them a run for their money. It has almost nothing to do with Lucio Fulci's Gates of Hell, aka City of the Living Dead, which should note that the title for this, the Gates of Hell 2, Dead Awakening title, absolutely not the intention of the filmmaker. Apparently, director Gary Markham used to get, and maybe still does get, a ton of shit for naming this movie Gates of Hell 2. He didn't do it. That was the distributors, those nefarious distributors. Actually, it's called Through the Fire, and it was released by Vinegar Syndrome in this beautiful deluxe slipcover edition. I guess not really deluxe, it's just it's a normal Vinegar Syndrome release. But I wanted to get back into reviewing singular titles. I feel like I've been just, off doing whatever, and I gotta get back to the ground floor. Man, that's not I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Anyway, also fun fact, this was not even given a proper domestic theatrical release until 1990. Actually, what am I saying? It was never given a proper domestic theatrical release. It was never given a proper domestic video release until 1997. Before that, it had been released theatrically and on video internationally with the Gates of Hell title. But this is its first real, sexy looking version for Americans. Before this, it was always a cruddy VHS. So this is really exciting to be able to watch this film the way it was more or less meant to be seen. So let's dig into that plot. Miss Texas 1983 Tamara Hext plays Sandra Curtis. Her sister is missing and she needs to find out why. One night, she's helped home from a bar by Tom Campitelli's officer, Nick Berkeley. He's a ladies' man, but he's also respectful. After discovering a mysterious medallion, they find out about and become the targets of a mysterious satanic cult.
We have a problem to solve.
Also, they're anti-cult mercenaries or something. Through the Fire shows its hand pretty early as a comedy, which I wasn't necessarily expecting, and much to my surprise, that humor works really well, and often in pleasingly subtle ways.
No, not the sink, no. You need to have that disposal checked tomorrow.
Little touches like the cop about to enjoy a little post-brownie phone sex before going to investigate a noise, or the cultist getting bullets removed from his butt cheek, are really just solid comedic moments that really bolster what can sometimes be a bit of a substandard narrative. But probably my favorite moment probably has to be the cat in the freezer.
There's a cat in your freezer.
There's a cat in the freezer.
There's a cat in your freezer.
While the acting and technical aspects are certainly a bit, shitty, there's plenty of charm, be it in the very regional feel or the casual performances.
God damn it! No, fucking coffee burned me.
I just want to point out also, there's a lot of, there are some performances vary wildly in this film. The acting is all over the place. But where it matters, it works really well. Our main characters are fairly charming. Miss Texas is definitely not quite as enjoyable to watch as our lead hero man guy, just because he has this very sort of goofy demeanor that works really well. I loved watching him work. I do love the idea of these borderline ineffectual, nebbish, mundane cultists as well. Definitely something to steal in the future. And I appreciate the pacing. I can't say it starts off running per se, but it's a quick, weird adventure that maybe hits a few too many familiar beats and has some issues really getting across some of its early gnarly elements, but it also adds a lighthearted voice that ensures it's not a total bore fest. Now that all said, Through the Fire is definitely the kind of movie you're gonna want to watch with friends if at all possible. I think with that social buffer you'll have a great time because it is very much a party movie, while the loners out there could really go either way. This could be a total miss for you. Through the Fire is very much the kind of movie that you're gonna wanna watch with friends. It's very much a party movie. I know that some patrons in the Discord, they enjoyed it a lot more than I did during my watching, and I have to assume it's because they were watching together and, you know, had a good time kind of riffing on the film and, you know, really just soaking in the more ridiculous elements. Whereas I was watching it by myself at my in-laws, just kind of, you know, watching a movie, and it didn't quite work for me as well in that environment. I think with friends, maybe with a little bit of substance abuse, we would have here a pretty strong contender for at least release of the month for its particular month.
As far as special features go, we got 4 minutes of behind-the-scenes effect shots, plus a 16-minute interview with Gregor Punchatz.
I'm Gregor Punchatz.
There, that one. Who orchestrated those nice effects. Lav Mike has some issues with Gregor's shirt early on, which is a bit distracting, but beyond that little technical issue, Gregor shows off some really cool artwork, talks about coming aboard the project, a makeup mishap, his whole career, you know, all that jazz. Then there's a 19-minute interview with Gary Markham and associate producer Brad Potter, who co-wrote Through the Fire together. They do the normal rounds, how the film was made, distro, their surprise at it getting a proper release.
Now there's also a separate version of the film sourced from video. It doesn't appear to have been sourced from VHS, so it doesn't look better than a VHS copy would, but it is sourced from a video master with the Gates of Hell 2 title, which is cool. I think that's a nifty thing to do. I don't necessarily think I'll ever watch it that way, but that's cool. Shit, balls. Fuck. It's no 2K scan of the 35 millimeter in a negative. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we get here, and it looks very good. It's not the best looking film in the world. It's very grainy, a little soft at times, but nothing too aggressive. It's Vinegar Syndrome. You know, it's a good scan that is representative of how the film looks, which really all you can ask for. Commentaries, we get two options. Let me make sure I don't fuck this up. I got a commentary track with co-writer and director Gary Markham, and he is interviewed by Brad Henderson. That's the commentary that I listened to. And then there's also a commentary. Wait, does it even say it on here? Yes, okay. There's also a group commentary track with Gary Markham, co-writer, associate producer Brad Potter, editor Jay Helton, and it's moderated by Zach Carlson. So that's the other commentary you can listen to, again, on the video transfer. I'm sure it's fun. I guess I will have to watch the video version because I would like to listen to that commentary, but I just didn't have time to get this review through in a quick and satisfying manner.
You see, it was so holy, you couldn't say it aloud.
Anyway, Gary Markham, he talks about how he met the various creatives who worked on Through the Fire and the many jobs they all shared, not only on this, but other productions, the super DIY nature of the film, amazing use of a bread rack, and how distribution in the US didn't pan out until 1997, as I said. It's very informative. It's a good, chill conversation between two dudes. It could probably be a little bit more insightful, I guess, but I don't really know how much more insight you're gonna get. And the fact that there's an additional commentary, potentially with even more information, fantastic. I think that this is overall a really solid set between the two interviews. They're lengthy enough, two commentaries, a solid transfer, a fun bit of alternate artwork. I mean, what do you want to ask for? Also, this slipcover is beautiful. Like, I love the slipcover. I love the way that it looks like it's been beaten to shit. I think that not only fits the film, but I think it's hilarious that I'm sure someone will be upset about it. And then if you, of course, open it up, you have the same artwork on the other side. So good shit. I like it. I like it a lot. I would not say it's an amazing film. I think it is a pretty standard Vinegar Syndrome release. It's very much one of those movies that you watch and you're like, that's a Vinegar Syndrome movie. And that's fine. That's good. I'm perfectly content with that. I don't have a problem with just another standard Vinegar Syndrome release. They give me access to these films that I otherwise would not have seen. And sometimes that's amazing. Sometimes it kind of sucks. Sometimes it's Through the Fire, which is middle of the road, good enough, happy to have seen it, and we'll probably revisit it at some point. It's very charming. The whole Fort Worth regional feel very much comes through. It's not as obvious as some regional films, It doesn't necessarily scream Texas, but it's still very nice to watch and nice to get a feel for these various like Fort Worth or Texas-based actors. There's one guy who plays a cop in RoboCop very briefly, who's in there because of course RoboCop shot in Texas. Yeah, you know what? It's a fun movie. That's all I got to say. Join my Patreon and also give this video a like or whatever. I don't know. Oh god, I'm doing the accent again. All right. Yeah, Through the Fire. It's good stuff. Ish. Go watch a movie.
There's a cat in your freezer.
You have no concept of what and who you're dealing with.
There's a cat in your freezer.
God, it hurts.
Emergency.
Well, why didn't you say so?
There's a cat in your freezer.
You need to have that disposal checked tomorrow.